Welcome back, everybody. It is the Manchester derby on Sunday. We've got two selections for this game, as always, powered by data. We're also going to take a look at the Burnley Liverpool game. So without further ado, let's get into it. We'll jump to the site quickly to see that Manchester City come into this having lost the last couple of games, not the way Pep would have wanted to start the season. Manchester United lost, then drew, then won, so progressively better, although their fixtures have been a little bit easier, you would say, than City's. Remember to get your predictions in the comments. What's going to happen in this game? Let us all know in the comments. I look forward to reading them. One thing I wanted to show you here is the number of shots for these teams. Absolutely crazy, really. 26 shots at home against Burnley, 13-10 in the game before that, and then 22 shots to 9 for Manchester United at home to Arsenal. They were praised, of course, for that performance. Still lost 1-0. For Manchester City, very high numbers as well. 12-12 against Brighton, 10-12 in the game before that, the 2-0 loss at home, and then 9-15 against Wolves. Sticking with shots, we're going to take a look at shots on target on the Football Form Guide, link in the description. We can see Manchester United and Manchester City both in the top three. Manchester City, 48 shots on target in the last 6 games. And when we look at XG4 per 90 as well, they are top of the pile, 2.57. I'm recording this on Saturday before the 3 p.m. game, so this could change a little bit. Now we jump back to the head-to-head because Manchester United fans, I'm sure, will like to see this. Manchester United, no defeats to Man City in the last 4 games. 0-0, 2-1, 1-1 and 2-1, which was the FA Cup final, of course, back in May 2024. Let's now take a look at the predicted lineups. I think we should start there before we move to the player props tool. So we have a predicted lineup here, and I would personally make a few changes to this. Kusanov does feature in our selections, as does Diallo, as we'll see in the next section. I think Trafford is 50-50. Donnarumma you would expect to start now that they've signed him on massive wages. Reijnders is expected to start, although they do have a new keeper, a 23-year-old keeper from Belgium. This would be an interesting game to throw him into, wouldn't it? Manchester United's team is actually a little bit easier to predict given that Mason Mount is injured, Cunha is injured, so in come Sesko and potentially Kobbie Mainoo there. Dalot is also injured, so Diallo comes in at right wing back, you would expect. And finally, just on City's back line, we have Kusanov there. We will include him in our selections, as you'll see in a moment, but if he doesn't start, O'Reilly potentially could be at left-back, Gvardiol in next to Diaz as a centre-back pairing. Gvardiol is only just back to fitness. He's not played a game this season. Same with Savinho, who is expected to be on the bench for this one. Now we'll take a quick look at card data and the referee. Anthony Taylor is the referee we can see here. Both of these teams have received a card in every game this season. Manchester United have received a single card. They have not yet received more than one card this season in the Premier League. And Anthony Taylor, if we just take a look at his Premier League form this season, it is quite interesting, the cards by half. Just 3 cards in the first half compared to 11, so a bit of a discrepancy there. For this next section, we are going to be taking a look at the player props tool, and in the last 10 games, Erling Haaland, my word, 41 shots in 10 appearances. He scored 5 against Moldova, of course, and I've got to ask you, is there much difference between Moldova and Manchester United? Jeremy Doku as well, 22 shots in his last 9 starts. Will he start though? Pep Roulette, I just don't want to put my faith in it, and then you get the team news and he's not out. I don't have the luxury of the lineups when I'm recording this video. You do, so try and use this data the best way you can. We scroll down and we see Reijnders on this list. 18 shots in his last 10 appearances, 9 of those starts. He has made at least 1 shot in every game this season for club and country. So he will feature on our selections, as we'll see in the next section. Now, we also have Benjamin Sesko on this list, and of course a lot of this data comes from his previous club. At Manchester United, he has made more fouls than shots on target. So actually, I think he's a good option for a foul in this game. He's going to be desperate to prove himself, desperate for a good performance, and sometimes that kind of energy can lead you to committing a foul. He's committed 3 fouls for Manchester United, and he's had 2 shots on target. Both of those coming against Grimsby. So Manchester City then, let's take a look at Bet365. We can see Erling Haaland to score anytime 1.72. He scored 5 in the week, of course. Phil Foden, he needs to kickstart his season and his City career again. Brian Mbeumo did score in his previous game, of course. The first thing we are going to put on this is a foul for Kuzminov. As I say, he started 1 Premier League game for City this season. It was against Brighton. They lost. He was erratic. He committed fouls. He is going in our first selection. Now, if he doesn't start, swap this for O'Reilly, who would likely, I think, come in at left back. John Stones, of course, he left the England camp, so it's unlikely that he will play. Gvardiol hasn't started a game this season. He's been injured, but he could be in line to return for this one. But as things stand, I'm recording this on Saturday, it looks like Kusanov will start. So 1.8 for a foul. Of course, I don't have the luxury of the lineups, which you might come Sunday. So the first option is Kuzminov foul. And then we add to that a Reijnders shot on target. I mentioned he has had a shot in every single game that he has played this season. 5 out of 5 for club and country. Manchester United in that sort of area behind their 2 midfielders, be it Mbeumo and Fernandes in this game. They do give you a lot of space. And Reijnders will want to test the new keeper if he plays. And if he's not playing, he'll surely want to test the other keeper because he's not very good. So Reijnders to have a shot on target and Kuzminov to commit a foul. Both Manchester City player prop options. 3.2. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments, and let me know what you are on in the comments as well. I look forward to reading your comments. Hit like, hit subscribe whilst you're down there. On to this second selection, and for this one we go to player fouls. Manchester United. We are looking at Benjamin Sesko as that pressing forward, desperate to impress. He is going to commit a foul in my mind. And then we go to shots on target. Manchester United to have over 2.5 shots on target. We saw that they have had a lot of shots so far this season. How can they continue that against much better opposition in Manchester City? I'm putting a little bit of faith in them, not too much. It's only 3 shots or more on target. You could have a free kick from Bruno Fernandes. You could have a succession of shots from a corner. It's not a lot to ask, really. 3 or more shots on target. Next, we go to cards, and we saw the data from the referee around second half cards, and I'm actually going to go with a City second half card, which gets this to 3s. Now, you can take this as it is right now. I'm quite confident in that, but I am going to add one more line to it, which is a shot on target for a player that has been doing very well when he plays. Amad Diallo, 4.2. And again, in my mind, I've got a couple of different game plans for this game. And if Gvardiol plays at left back, then yes, a Diallo or Mbeumo shot on target is less likely than if O'Reilly plays at left back. So 4.2 with a Diallo shot on target. And I was very close to also having Mbeumo. Mbeumo would be 4.5. So Diallo is actually shorter odds, even though he's going to be playing at right wing back, whereas Mbeumo is going to be playing as the sort of right-sided number 10. So Diallo is my pick. Mbeumo was a very, very close second. Let me know who you think is going to have a shot on target in this one. Now, a bonus game, Burnley against Liverpool. I'm just going to put up a new alert that was sent out to pro users. It is a player prop insights alert, and you can see here Jadon Anthony was mentioned, and he is going to be the beef the foundations of this selection that we're going to put together, you can see that any Burnley player really is over evens, apart from Lyle Foster. And Jadon Anthony, I think he had 3 or 4 shots away at Tottenham. Burnley were very unlucky not to score against Tottenham, to be honest, in that first game of the season. And as you can see, Anthony has had a shot on target in every game played so far this season. So he is the foundation of this selection. And if you want to get those alerts weekly, they go out on sort of Thursday, Friday. And they contain a multitude of sort of player prop data and insights from many leagues around the world. You can subscribe to that on the player props page, link in the description. And just a little bit of analysis and predictions for this game. I see it going one of 2 ways, and both of those ways end with a Liverpool victory. Liverpool are either going to win this game 2-0, having made the game defense against attack. They break through in the sort of first half and then they get another goal. It's a boring game. They're just on top. Nothing happens. Or Burnley go for it. They don't just sit back and they attack and counter well as they did at Manchester United and at Tottenham. They put in some pretty good performances so far, Burnley. I think a lot of people are just writing them off. But this will be an interesting game to see how they approach it. And if they do play with the same ability as they did at Spurs and at Old Trafford, then I think they can at least score a goal and Liverpool will still win the game 3-1, 4-2, etc., as they did against Bournemouth, something like that. So with that said, the next selection for this one is Liverpool to win, and that takes this to 3s. And then something that I always like to add, and I think it's worth it in this game, Liverpool have received cards this season. Both teams to get a card 4.33, especially that counter-attack. Liverpool do look so vulnerable. The Arsenal 1-0 was their first clean sheet in a while. I think it was the first clean sheet since they played Leicester at the back end of last season. So they can be got at, but Arsenal just didn't really go for it. So if Burnley do, then they might get the rewards. Look, if you're going to lose this game anyway, you might as well go for it. That's how these promoted teams, I would tell my promoted players to play like that if I was Burnley manager. There's no point sitting back. You get beat 2-3-0 anyway. Might as well go for it. Try and hit them on the break as and when you can. So both teams to receive a card. Jadon Anthony to get a shot on target. Liverpool to win the game. And both teams to receive a card, as I've just said, 4.33. So that is the video. Thank you as always for watching. Hit like if you want to see more. This is the section where you can enable the weekend player props digest. It will come on a Thursday or Friday, depending on, if there's a Friday game or whatever. And it will just show you valuable player prop bets based on the data that you find in the player props tool. Much like the screenshot that you saw before. So yeah, just a new feature to plug there. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.